Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight, of course, we're going to be hanging out for a couple of hours and we are going to be chatting about a bunch of different things that have happened over the past couple of days. I had so many on a list that I was considering covering, but I tried to pick the best ones and well, here we are. Lots of follow-ups to topics that I've previously covered. And some that are just very disappointing, like Pokemon. I think we were all kind of looking forward to that game, thinking it would be better because Legend Arceus was pretty solid, and well, unfortunately, we didn't get that. So tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of drama when it comes to movies, to Marvel. This is something that's new that I do think I'll probably cover in a video. I was not very surprised to hear about this, but it's just so stupid. That's the problem. So Marvel Studios producer admitted that they consider it a red flag if a writer is a fan of the original comics and they prefer to hire someone who is out of the culture. Now, obviously, just judging the content that they've been releasing over the past few years, they clearly do not care about hiring fans and hiring people who know the source material and who actually care about the source material and who want to respect these characters and these other people's creations. That still doesn't mean that it's not shocking in a way, though, because why would a giant company, right, that got popular off of these major characters completely disregard them? You'd think that they'd want to do their best, because if they're doing their best, they're making more money. And obviously, when it comes to the MCU, fans are not happy with the content that they've been releasing. But a producer, I don't know why they would do this, but they decided to admit that they aren't hiring people who are part of the culture. I understand to a certain extent wanting people to come into a project and put forward new original ideas, but the problem is that they're not actually really doing that. They're just taking existing characters, going, how can we change these characters and how can we do something different? They should just be creating new stories, new heroes, and people would be happy, or at least people would be fine. I mean, who wants to see their favorite characters ruined? But that's not what Marvel is doing right now. We're going to be talking about Pokemon. Oh, God, this is just a disaster. I got a copy of Pokemon Scarlet. It was gifted to me. And I have not opened it yet. I have not started playing it yet because of how terrible this game looks. I skipped on Pokemon Arceus, The Legend of Arceus, because Sword and Shield were a massive disappointment to me. I did not find it enjoyable. It was very buggy. It was very underwhelming. And when Arceus came out, I was like, I'm not going to spend more money on a Pokemon game, even though that one was a big success. And of course, going into Scarlet and Violet, I was like, it's been a couple of years since I played a new Pokemon game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. And unfortunately, it is a fucking disaster. And it is currently being review bombed on Metacritic. People are furious with the awful quality of this game. When you're charging consumers $70 for a game and there's bugs and glitches like this, it is unacceptable, and you deserve to get fucking roasted over it. And they are, and they definitely deserve it. We're going to be talking about Rings of Power. Boy, oh boy, there's always something. So a couple of days ago, I did a video on Rings of Power, and this actually comes from that same article, the Variety article, where they basically called critics racists again for like the 10th time now. But this was something that I didn't know about that was in that article. Absolutely hilarious. Rings of Power star hopeful for more representation in season 2. Ismael Cruz Cordova, who plays Arondir, hopes the show will continue positive, diverse representation in season 2. And while I obviously have no problems with diversity in entertainment, the problem is that they're basically saying fuck Tolkien. Just right off the bat saying that, because it is his world, it's his creation, he wrote the characters, and they're basically saying, you know what, no, we're gonna do something different with his world. I hope that they push the limits even more. This is an actor who saw all of the backlash surrounding season 1, all of the problems, all of the changes, all of the criticisms, and he's basically saying we should double down on it. Why do you think that that's a good idea? Okay? This show, there's no shot it's going to go 5 seasons. I know they initially said they were planning on 5. There's no shot. They're going to do season 2, and then they're going to announce, you know what, season 3 is the last season. We're going to follow in the wise direction that the other movie trilogies have gone. We're just going to make this show 3 seasons. I know it. I've said it a million times. There's no way this is getting 5 seasons with the shit that these actors are saying. We're also going to be talking about the CW. Now, obviously, the CW was a massive fucking failure. We heard that they were trying to sell it because it never made them any money. In all the years that CW was open, they never, ever, ever brought in any money. But now we understand just how much money they lost, which is fucking crazy. So it says the CW is losing $2 for every dollar it earned. And to make it even more hilarious, it says the quarter in 2021 to 2022 confirmed the CW had a quarterly revenue of about $100 million for an estimated annual total of between $370 million to $405 million, but the annual losses were upwards of $300 to $400 million. So now we understand just how much money they were losing, and that's for 1 year. $500 million in 1 year. That's gotta be a yikes from me. I mean, we knew that it was bad, but I don't think we all realized that bad. So that's definitely interesting. And then there's a few like various topics that if we get a chance to cover, I will. Like Pixiv. I haven't really covered the Pixiv situation too much, but they are now banning uploads depicting acts that are offensive to public order and morals following complaints from Western credit card companies. Now, listen, I like platforms, obviously, that give creators freedom to upload their own content. But sadly, this is a trend that we have seen a lot of companies do over the past few years, especially ones trying to appeal to Western standards. And now Pixiv is banning uploads that basically go against, in their description, public order. Very, very non-descriptive, meaning they can censor whoever the fuck they want for whatever the reason they want. But yeah, I wish I could say I was surprised. Sadly, I'm not. But yeah, those are the topics that we're going to be covering tonight. And, I also have this up on another tab. Marvel requested the hulked out Todd to be uglified in She-Hulk's finale, because, of course, he's a man. And he's the villain. And classic Marvel, they fucking hate men. So they wanted to make the man ugly. Well, listen, I think that they should have maybe changed their priorities a little bit, because not only was the villain ugly, but the hero was also pretty bad looking with that shitty CGI and that awful fucking wig and the outfits that they put her in. They were just terrible. But we don't need to roast She-Hulk too much. But it's pretty hilarious that that was their focus. Oh, no, we can't have the hero being, you know, handsome or attractive. He has to be ugly because he's a man. Classic Marvel. Wish I could say I was surprised. Men are so 1998. Yeah, men are awful. Men are terrible. Ugh, men, am I right? Make writing good again? Well, I think that there are a lot of amazing writers out there, and there is a lot of great content out there. The problem is that companies like Marvel are not hiring those individuals, so they don't have as many eyes on their work, so they don't have as many opportunities. The issue that I have said a million times over with Amazon, with Marvel, with DC, is that they're not trying to pick the best people for the job. They're not trying to pick the people that know the source material, that love the work, that are passionate about the project that they're being hired for. They're picking people that they can push around. That's why Amazon ultimately decided to ghost Peter Jackson, is because Peter Jackson already knew the source material, the lore, what should be happening, judging by Tolkien's work. And they didn't have Peter Jackson come onto the project because he would say, I'm going to respect the source material to the best of his ability, and I know what the fuck I want to do with this show. And that's why they hire no ones. That's why we get these trash fucking idiots on these shows and movies and entertainment, because they're hiring people who are going to be like, I'm so grateful that Amazon or Marvel or DC gave me this opportunity that I'm not going to do anything fucking creative and original, and I'm just going to do everything that they write down. That's the problem with the entertainment industry at this point, is that nobody's are being fucking or fucking overshadowing the good, creative, talented writers because Hollywood wants to have, you know, fucking sheep that follow them and do what they say. Namor, yeah. It's not Namor anymore. It's Namor. Excuse me. Namor. Nahmor. How many different ways can we say his name? Because they fucked that up. Not only do they hire nobodies, but they fire anyone who has a remote clue as to what they're doing. Exactly. It's so depressing. It's so freaking sad. And it's not even just writers. It's writers, producers, directors, any kind of creatives, even actors. They pick nobody actors as well. Like, look at fucking Rings of Power. It's filled with nobodies. There's 2 actors, or 3 actors, that people would semi-know. And that's because they were in fucking Game of Thrones. Adar's actor was Benjen Stark. Celebrimbor's actor, he's been in a couple things, but I mainly know him from The Crown. And then the actor who plays Elrond played young Ned Stark. Like, bitch, can you pick, like, I don't know, better actors? Like, I think that, you know, they're good actors. I'm not saying that they're bad actors. But the problem is that were they the best picks for the job? Probably not. And that's 3 names that aren't even that well known. Because they're all from, like, 1 to 2 shows. Like, you could have gotten such good actors. And besides, you know, 2 to 3 that people will know, all the others are absolute nobodies. It's very sad. Namor. Nimor. Adar was very good. I agree. I think that Adar was actually pretty solid. I think they should have just made him Sauron. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think he should have just been Sauron. It would have made sense. We would have had backstory for him. It wasn't a shitty twist. You know, he was presented initially as the villain, or as a villain. They should have just made him Sauron. Adar was great. Actually great. Holy shit, I actually said something about Rings of Power was great. It's probably because of the actor. He's a really good actor. I do not like Morphin Clark. I don't know. I do not. Maybe it's because she didn't fit as Galadriel. I'm not trying to be biased over here. I had watched like some other clips of her work before Rings of Power came out when I was looking her up when they had announced she was playing Galadriel. I don't know. She just never caught my attention. She's very Daisy Ridley to me. They played a shitty role in a shitty movie, but the problem is that they were in other things and they were still not good in those other things, which leads me to believe it's not just one bad acting gig, it's just they're shitty actors. Respectfully, sorry. I'm not sitting here saying I could do a better job. I could probably do a better job. I just don't think that they're great. They're not like breakout stars to me. Thank you, Raj, for the $1.99 super chat. Much appreciated. Okay, guys, so let's get this first topic started. We are going to start with Marvel. Marvel Studios producer considers it a red flag if prospective writers are fans of original comics, prefers to hire someone who's out of the culture. It says, as if it wasn't obvious enough from simply watching any of the studio's post-Infinity War output, producer Nate Moore. I've never met a Nate who wasn't a soy boy cock. Sorry to Nates out there. I'm sorry. I haven't met one. They've all been soy boy cuck losers. Nate Moore has revealed that he believes the key to Marvel Studios' success is hiring writers who are out of the comic book culture over anyone who loves the source material. Now, as this article points out, and we very clearly can deduce, they are not hiring people who care about the lore, the source material, respecting other creatives' creations. Yeah. They've been putting out trash, and to hear that they're hiring people who are out of the culture, it makes so much sense. Obviously, we don't really need someone to tell us that, but it's nice to know that we were right. They are picking absolute losers for these projects. They're picking people who have no idea what they're talking about. And that's very obvious at this point. It says Moore, whose career has seen him serve as a producer for such MCU entries like Captain America Civil War, not a great movie in my opinion, Falcon and Winter Soldier, not a great show in my opinion, and Wakanda Forever, bad movie in my opinion, shared his insight into Marvel Studios' hiring philosophy during an appearance on the Town podcast. Oh no, it's him. It says that he was eventually asked if there was some kind of a Marvel boot camp or something that you do with these filmmakers to integrate them into the world and knowing all the things they need to know, to which the producer confirmed, not really. Noting that some Marvel writers grew up reading and collecting comics such as Endgame, the Russo brothers, and Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, Moore told him, "One thing I think is interesting, and specifically for writers, I would say, is that a lot of the times we're pitching writers who love Marvel, and to me that's always a red flag." Oh guys, it's a red flag picking someone who's actually a good decision, a good choice. I don't want you to already have a pre-existing idea of what it is because you grew up with the comics and that's what you want to recreate. I want someone who's going to be hard on the material, who can go, what is this? I think there's a movie here, but maybe we should be looking at it in this way. That is everything wrong with Marvel currently. You should be picking people who look at the source material, who love it, who feel passionate about it, who can go, we should recreate this. Yes, when you're taking, a series and you're making an adaptation of it, sometimes big, important moments or amazing scenes from the original material are not going to make it into the final cut of something. That's just the way that it is. But you need someone who knows all of the material, who can go, this is what fans want. They want this big scene. They want this big change. Look at all of the acting decisions that were made by our boy, Matt Smith, with House of the Dragon. Okay? Also, Patty, who played, you know, King Viserys, there were so many impromptu, off-the-cuff scenes that they filmed because they said, well, we know that this originally happened, but why don't we try it in this slightly different way? Because yes, on paper, it said, oh, we should do just this general scene, which was in the source material that is really important to fans, but we know that we can up it, we can make it better, we can heighten it, we can make it more dramatic for, in that case, the television show. Unfortunately, when you're hiring people who don't know any of the source material, they don't know what the fuck they should recreate and what fans want to see. It's depressing that they're admitting, right, that they're hiring idiots. They're hiring people who have no fucking idea of anything, and that's why we're getting so many bad projects. While every, you know, movie, TV show project in general, not every single person is going to be like this enthusiast, this lover of the, in this case, original comic books. You still need people who can navigate how a character would act, would think, decisions they'd make. And let's say, you know, out of the writer's room, 10 of the lead creatives, 3 of them know the material. Well, that's good enough because those people, their voices are going to matter and they're going to have that input. But when you're hiring people specifically that don't know the material, you end up with all of these absolute trash projects. As it says, offering up an example of why he was looking in of what he was looking for in prospective writers, he then pointed to the Captain America trilogy writers who weren't comic guys coming up, but we're like, wait, Captain America, this seems a bit weird. What if it kind of looked this way? And they weren't married to not. I'm sorry. This makes me respect them so little, right? It just, why would I respect your work when it wasn't great? And now we know why it wasn't great. I'm sorry. The Captain America trilogy, it was lacking in a lot of elements. I don't want to get into my hatred for a lot of Captain America. I've just never been a Captain America girl. But I feel like a lot of the MCU moments with Captain America just have not been it. They've not been great. I think there are obviously some good moments. If I had to get rid of the Captain America trilogy, though, I would. Anyway, I think that's important to be able to go, look at the source material is great and I love it and comics work great in the medium they were built in, but that's not a direct one-to-one translation to the best version of the movie. And sometimes it takes someone who's out of the culture to go, hey, I know that you think it should be this and maybe it should be this other thing. I do not agree with this. I just don't. It doesn't take someone who's out of the culture to go, hey, maybe we should change the scene slightly around. You always want the most knowledgeable person for the job on the job. And clearly Marvel has changed that philosophy over the years, and now their content is trash. Oh, Taika Waititi. The tone of Ragnarok is all Taika because he wasn't married to Thor on the page. But I haven't read every Thor book. I have read a lot. I couldn't tell you of a run that is tonally anything like Ragnarok. That's true, but that is one of the few exceptions to the rule, right? Yes, he didn't know a lot about the story or the backstory of Thor, because there's admittedly a lot of Thor content, but clearly someone behind the scenes knew it and he put his own spin on it. I thought Ragnarok was pretty good. I didn't think it was perfect or amazing, but I did think that it was pretty good. But again, that's one of the few exceptions. Knowing, though, that they specifically wanted, and they still do want to hire people who are out of the culture, is one of the worst things that I have heard Marvel say in a very long time. It's just an awful direction to go in. I do think that that is going to hurt them. I mean, obviously, their content is always going to sell. Their movies are always going to make money. Their shows are always going to get viewers. Marvel is not failing anytime soon, obviously and clearly. But people are getting very worn out and burnt out with the bad content that they're releasing, and I think it's going to come back around soon here and bite them in the ass. And more people, at least, are going to stop watching their content. I'm sorry, but this is just a very, very bad statement in my opinion. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on that article. We'll move on to the next one in a minute. We'll talk about some Pokemon. Very depressing topic as well. Very sad. Hello, Reese. Hope your evening is going well. The Varaverse is still in the process of building its lore. Listen. Actually true, though. The story of how LOTR trilogy got made is a phenomenon in the movie business. Oh, exactly. And look at LOTR. It's not the LOTR movies, not the book. The LOTR movies are not perfect to the source material. There were some creative decisions made that were changed, and it still turned out to be one of the best fucking trilogies ever. Yes, it didn't one-for-one follow every single thing, but that's what companies should strive for. They made changes, yes, but they were good changes, and they made, in my opinion, we could sit here and debate about it all day, they made, in my opinion, sense. And they are things that I could see Tolkien doing. Yeah, the Captain America movies, they just didn't hit for me. They were, you know, they were, I don't know. I mean, they're just not great. They're just not great. I think that obviously each movie has good moments to them, but overall, products, not a giant fan of. Yeah, Shadow Man, I saw that a little bit earlier. Avatar 2 has to make $2 billion to break even. It's not going to. Well, you know what? Maybe it will. Maybe it will. How much? Avatar 1 box office. What are the numbers? Okay, so it's sitting right under 3 billion right now for the first Avatar. I don't think that the second one will make... Well, you have to consider it came out in 2009. That's a long fucking time. I don't think that the second one is going to be deemed a success. I don't know. Maybe it will. You know, I don't claim to know the future. I think it's going to be one extreme or the other with Avatar. I think it'll make money, obviously. But I think it will either do really fucking amazing, or it will do very mediocre, and they will be extremely disappointed with it. Yeah, $2 billion in a recession, I just don't see it happening. Again, first Avatar, $3 billion since 2009, and it has had, I think, 4 theatrical runs, because they keep re-releasing and re-releasing it in theaters. I think they'll do the same thing with the second Avatar film. I do not think that this is going to be a Frozen situation. And I don't want to talk about the fucking comparison because you guys are going to laugh at me. Okay, yes, Disney, Frozen. Frozen 1 came out and it was a giant fucking success. It made so much money. Every fucking stupid little shit was singing that stupid Frozen song. But then the second one came out and it was a better movie than the first, but it didn't do as good as the first. I think that's what's going to happen. Avatar 1 came out. It was a fucking major phenomenon. And everyone was seeing it. Everybody loved it. It's made billions of dollars. I think the second one is going to come out. I think it's going to make money, but I don't think it's going to do as good as the first. I don't know, though, if it will be a better movie than the first. I think that it will be, just because Avatar 1 had a lot going for it that was unique. That's why it did so good. Look at all of the special equipment that they've built just for this Avatar 2 movie. I think that there's a likely chance it will be a better movie, but I just don't think it's going to capture the magic like the first one did. Because the first one was unique, it was new, it was interesting. I don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't think it's gonna do as good as the first. Let it go, Vera. I need to. Yeah, 12 years for the first to make $3 billion. I do not think that the second one is going to make $3 billion, $2 billion, or even $3 billion in the next few years. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it will. I mean, worldwide success, fame, money, bitches. That's all that they want out of life. Okay, time to talk about Pokemon. Yeah, Frozen was 10 years ago. How does that make you feel? Do you want to talk about it? Are you feeling old right now? 10 years ago. The second Frozen movie was 100 times better than the first, though. 100 times better. And I will go to the grave with that. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. As you guys can see right here, I do own a copy of Pokemon Scarlet. It is not opened yet because this game seems like trash. And you know what? I do not know if I want to even open it. I skipped out on Pokemon Legend of Arceus because Sword and Shields was such a massive disappointment for me. And then I regretted not buying Arceus because it was apparently a really good Pokemon game. And I said, I'm not missing out on this Pokemon. I've loved Pokemon. Pokemon's cool. They're running out of ideas. The next Pokemon that they're going to make is going to be... You know what? I'm going to withhold that statement because what... I'm looking at Sankaku Complex, and the first thought that popped into my head is not age appropriate. I'm not looking to get the channel demonetized. But, well, this game is fucking trash, and it's getting review bombed online right now, and it deserves to. But it says Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, a complete disgrace littered with catastrophic bugs. This makes me so sad that they keep messing up Pokemon game after Pokemon game after Pokemon game. They need to re-hit the drawing board. They need to make another blue, red, yellow. They need to fucking make another Heart Gold, Soul Silver. They need to go back to the good games, and they need to reevaluate their business decisions. So it says Pokemon Scarlet and Violet may yet go down as Game Freak's most humiliating and embarrassing creation ever, as tons of bugs are being discovered nonstop, from graphical glitches to performance issues to game-breaking glitches, and yet the franchise's worshippers are probably already itching to purchase the next title. This is a couple of days old, and again, my copy was gifted to me, otherwise I would return it. But it says, one user found that jumping in certain locations can bug out the game. I can't sit here and show you guys all of these damn glitches because we would be here all night. But I can show you just a couple of them so you understand the problems in case you haven't seen the bugs, the glitches, the issues. First of all, graphically, this game looks like trash, okay? The last games, Sword and Shield, the trailers looked amazing, and then the game came out and it was really bad. They did the same thing with this, right? They baited us into buying it because it looked good, and it actually looks like trash. I do not know why they can't make a Pokemon game that looks good. I don't get it. I understand it's a Switch, right? And Switch has some technical problems. Bayonetta 3 looks perfectly fine. Okay? This shit, it's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. You will not convince me that they can't make a Pokemon game that looks good on the Nintendo Switch. But the game is doing very poorly online right now. It is getting review bombed, and again, it deserves to. Pokemon Violet on Metacritic is currently sitting at a 3.4 out of 892 ratings, and Scarlet, which is the one I got, is sitting at a 2.9 out of 1,764 ratings, and the critics are actually kind of going in on this game, which is nice to see. I mean, it's still getting good reviews from them, but they are criticizing the bugs, the glitches, the visual problems. Yeah, Pokemon Cyberpunk 2077 edition. But as you can see, people are not happy with this title. 369 positive, 102 mixed, and then 1,338 negatives. Yeah, I do agree that 76 is still way too high, but at least it's not like a freaking 90%, because it wouldn't have surprised me if they gave this game like a 90%. That's what they always do. That they are, I don't want to talk about game critics and journalists, but they are just very out of touch. We don't need to get into that. Oh, also, Callisto Protocol ad. So it says, let me zoom in a little bit. Is that too much? No, it's fine. Okay, so the first couple here are the positive ones. Thank you so much, Metacritic, for showing me the positive reviews, even though there's a quarter of the negatives. Let's just read some of the more negative reviews. A 2. This is unacceptable. The game looks extremely ugly, one of the worst 3D graphics I have seen. It runs terribly, low FPS, glitches from hell, animations from hell. You can't change your main clothes like in earlier games. You have to keep wearing the school uniform. They removed the option to disable animations in set mode. The open world is empty and feels fake. I liked the catching mechanic in Arceus. Here they went back to the old style. Auto battle is clunky. Often Pokemon runs past enemies. There is nothing that people are saying is good about this game unless you're a certified shill. Pokemon fans have awful taste, and this game proves it. So, the reason why they're saying that, and I don't know how much you guys have been following the controversy on social media the past couple of days, but there is a giant amount of Pokemon fans saying that this game isn't too bad. Basically, the Pokemon lovers are saying that it will be fixed. And I get it, right? People have brand loyalty. You love Pokemon. You want the game to be good. You want to believe that you didn't just get scammed out of $70 for a game that's 8 hours. Yeah. 8 hours for this shit. But a $70 AAA title should never be releasing in this state. It shouldn't. It is completely unacceptable. Even without the embarrassing amount of severe technical issues, this isn't worth anybody's money. It's an ugly, dead, open-world game without anything intriguing to see or interesting to do other than catching Pokemon. No voice acting, terrible sound design, and no endgame. Yeah, it's like an 8 to 10 hour experience There's no voice acting. The Pokemon that they put into this title seem very bad. Graphically, it's ugly, it's buggy, it's glitchy. It's just depressing to see this franchise that is massive have new game releases and them put the least amount of effort into them. I know we roast things like Call of Duty because a new Call of Duty comes out every year and ha ha ha, they're not being innovative. At least their game works. I'm not trying to sit here and defend Activision Blizzard, but it's one of the only series that releases every year. Like Pokemon, every year there's a new game. But at least Call of Duty, even though, yeah, like, sound designs aren't great sometimes, it's not as innovative as it could be, at least the game works. At least it's not, like, fucking buggy and glitchy this much. The games look relatively nice. They run relatively well. There's voice acting. There's decent sound design. There's campaign along with multiplayer. I mean, this is another level of unacceptable quality and content. Let's read a couple of the positives, because I know that you guys are Pokemon fanboys. You love Pokemon. I've always called it Pokemon. Pokemon? 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 Pokemon. Pokemon. There's no shot. Let's read what some of the shills have to say, because I know you guys are the shills. I'm about 4 hours into the game. Oh, so they're halfway through it. That's good. And so far haven't experienced any of the bugs others seem to have been cursed with. Although it does feel laggy at moments, but it's something I can look past. Oh, the game runs like shit and it's laggy? I can look past it. 8 out of 10. Bitch, shut the hell up. Getting the performance side out of the way, the new Pokemon game goes... I'm sorry, Pokemon? I can't. The new Pokemon game goes all the way out and changing the way we play Pokemon. Okay, you don't need to... Is this take a shot every time you say Pokemon? It feels like a big upgrade... On Arceus? Okay, there's no way. This is a certified shill. Arceus got amazing user reviews. Arceus people loved. And everybody hates this, and you're saying that this is better than Arceus? There's no shot. I'm not a fan of most of the designs for the new Pokemon, and luckily I could create a team that includes Pokemon specifically from the first few generations. Dude, stop saying Pokemon. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the new dynamic, but similar to the other gimmicks like Mega Evolutions of X and Y, it's not a crucial part of the game. Okay, so they say that it's laggy. The Pokemon designs are bad. They don't like one of the new dynamics. What the fuck do you like about this game then? Why are you giving it an 8 out of 10? An 8 out of 10, while that's not perfect, it's very close to being perfect. You are giving this like a 50% rating now. You should be giving this a 5 out of 10. I'm sorry. Shut the hell up. Pokemon Violet was overall a fun and engrossing experience despite some noticeable issues. Can you not read, dude? This is Pokemon Scarlet. Sorry. This review comes after beating the story and catching 75% of the Pokemon in the game, which amounts to the vast majority that are available in just one of the 2 versions. Dude, there's like 10 Pokemon that are different throughout each game. Do not sit here and act like there's 200 different Pokemon in each game. Stop gaslighting. The main Pokemon I had left to catch were evolutions from the past generations that I didn't feel like grinding out. I think that based on this, I have seen enough to give a fairly balanced appraisal. If you say the word appraisal in a video game review, your opinion is instantly null to me. First, the pros. Is this a game journalist? Wow, they really put this together. Let's just read the pros. I mean the cons. Yeah, let's just read the cons. Did have a few crashes, especially seemed to happen when walking into buildings. Performance was bad at times. The story is not what you're here for, but it's still pretty awful. Not like awful, like awful. The raid battles are pretty bad. The late game is a bit disappointing. So, there's this massive list of cons, right? There's more text in the cons than there is in the pros, and they're giving it an 8 out of 10. I'm sorry. That is just not it. Also, why are these names all of the same? Are they paying for reviewers? Alex 2K371 SRF 5132. Are you paying people here? Very suspicious. A 10. Okay. No. This is the best Pokemon game yet. Okay, dude. Shut up. A 10 out of 10. Great game. Even with the criticism, I finished the game and found no bug. Compared to other Rin games, it's more than perfect. This person, first of all, English is not your first language, and that's okay, I'm not gonna judge. They are saying that this game is better than Elden Ring. It is perfect. It is perfect compared to Elden Ring. But then they say it needs to improve, but it's on the right path. Oh my god. You don't give something a 10 out of 10 and then say it needs to improve a sentence after saying it's perfect. Just stop. Oh my god. A 10 out of 10. A 10. It's very fun. Also, technically, is a trash in performance, and graphics can be better a lot, but I fan a Pokemon. This is why my rating. Oh no. Oh no, dude. What are you doing with your life? Thank you, Autobots, for the $5 super chat. Also, guys, we need 7, not to show. We need 7 more members to unlock an emote slot for the new cat emotes. We have a Bilbo thumbs up and a Meshla thumbs down. We need 7 more members. We have tiers that are $5. Become a member today. Help out the community. Thank you, Autobots, for the $5 super chat. I wonder how much these people were paid to pop off this hard about Pokemon. It's a mystery. This literally seems like you put in, like, a sentence generator, the words Pokemon, fun, perfect. And this is what it comes out with. A 10? Oh my god. Definitely needs work, but by all means doesn't deserve a 0. Game Freak should start listening to their audience and do better. You gave it a 10. Do these people not know what a 10 means? Game is trash. 10 out of 10. What? Do they not understand? Honestly, the best story and gameplay of any Pokemon game so far. I've been playing since the GBA era, and this is so close. He game I've been dreaming of. A 10 out of 10 by Patrick99. Patrick, what else have you rated? Patrick. Listen, Pat. Listen, Pat. You went and gave Pokemon Scarlet and Violet 10 out of 10s. And it's the same text. It's the same text. It's just copy and pasted, and he removed the word honestly. So I guess he wasn't being honest in the second one. Yikes. I'm sorry. That's gonna be a no from me. That's gonna be a no from me. Let's read one more. A 10 out of 10. I never expected the game to run like a dream. At least the story is the best the series has ever had. I have beat the game and haven't run into a character I don't like. Seriously, play the game and you'll understand how good it is. All of these negative reviews dragging such a good game down are a shame, since it just shows that these people maybe played for an hour or two and decided to review bomb the game. Are there glitches? Sometimes. Do they break the game? Sometimes. Are the graphics that bad? No, it looks great. But people have seen so many passion projects and fan animations that they've decided that anything less is bad. 10 out of 10. Anyway, guys, as you can see, it is being review bombed. I still thought that we'd look at some of the positive ones because I like to look at idiots being idiots on the internet. But as you can see, this game is buggy, it is broken, it is getting review bombed, and honestly, it deserves to be. I own a copy. I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. I don't know what my plans are with it. I am feeling very underwhelmed with what I'm seeing. And honestly, I don't really know if I want to play it at this point. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to be moving on to, let's talk about CW next. And then we'll talk about Rings of Power. Boy, oh boy. Something new with the CW. Yeah, game's trash, 10 out of 10. These people are losers. A $70 coaster. It's so true, though. That's what's so sad about it. Oh, also speaking of $70 trash rip-off games, Battlefield 2042 is on Game Pass now. So I'm gonna reinstall it. Because I had refunded my copy of it when it initially came out. But now it's on Game Pass, so I'm gonna re-download it and see what they've changed and fixed. Yep, it's time for the cringeworthy network. Channel of woke. Cringeworthy. Actually, true though. It's just so sad that we can't expect content from specific companies regarding specific franchises to be good anymore. Like Pokemon, you can't expect new Pokemon content to be good. It never is good anymore. Complete Wreck, Clown World, all of them are very accurate. He was honest in the first one, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Honestly, he was stunning and brave for being honest in the first one. The other, nah, who gives a fuck about the other one, but he was honest once. And honestly, that's pretty good of him. Yeah, I like Pokemon. I really, really do. I think that Pokemon, it's so fun, but the last few titles have just been so bad. And again, I skipped Arceus because it didn't give me any confidence. After Sword and Shield, I didn't think it was gonna be good. So I decided, you know what? I'll skip on it this time. The one I shouldn't have skipped, that I did skip, I now regret skipping. I probably should buy Arceus, huh? Let me go to Amazon. How much is it? I'm not gonna buy it because I just spent $1,700 on my new computer. But Pokemon Arceus. How much is it though? $47. Interesting. Oh yeah, most of my PC is here now. I ordered it 2 days ago. Most of it's here now. I'm still waiting on the motherboard and the CPU. But the cooling system, the RAM, and the power supply are here. But now I'm waiting for the other pieces to get here. Flash went downhill after season 3. Yeah, they're doing one more season of Flash, so it's going to be, I believe that's 8 in total. All of the CW shows, or I should specify the Arrowverse shows, they were all really, really good at first. In my opinion, I thought they were pretty solid. I liked Flash, I liked Arrow. Hell, even though Supergirl was not the best story-wise, it did have a little bit of woke undertones to it. I still thought that it was pretty good. Like, I would have rewatched it, and then, of course, it went downhill from there. But a lot of the Arrowverse shows initially were decent, and, well, they killed them off pretty quickly. So, I've talked a lot on the channel about the CW, and I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. I don't think that this is the last we've heard of the CW. But, well, we had initially heard when they were selling off the network that it never made a profit. It did terribly for them. It never made them money. It was losing, losing, losing. But now we have a good idea of how many billions, with a B, they've lost. So it says the CW was losing $2 for every dollar it earned. The CW, home of popular television franchises like the Arrowverse, Supernatural, and the Vampire Diaries, was reportedly losing double what it earned prior to its sale in mid-2022. Per The Hollywood Reporter, an analysis of the new owner Nexstar's SEC filings for this quarter in 21-22 confirmed the CW had a quarterly revenue of about $100 million for an estimated total annual loss. Oh, excuse me. I skipped a line. For an estimated annual total of between $370 million and $405 million. So that's in earnings. But had annual losses between $300 million and $400 million. They were losing $500 million. And this is for 1 year. This is 1 year. This isn't 2 years, 3 years. This is a single year. Imagine how many billions they have lost since they opened. While the CW has never made a profit since its creation in 2006, these figures mean that the network could have started costing almost $2 for every dollar it made for owners Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery. It is expensive to make movies and TV shows, especially when you look at other companies like, say, you know, Disney with the Marvel films, right? They're creating a handful of shows, but they're spending a lot of money on those shows. But with CW, they were spending a lot of money because they were making so many different kinds of shows, which was the problem for them. If they had put maybe the money, the time, the effort into only a handful of series, maybe they would have been much more successful. But, well, they didn't do that. It says Nexstar Media Group acquired the network from co-owners Warner Brothers TV and CBS Studios in August, gaining 75% of the network and $54 million for its troubles. They had to pay Nexstar to acquire this company. They had to give them money. That's pathetic. It says the network itself never made money for the owners, but its programming was produced by the studios that owned it, who then benefited from international sales in a $1 billion deal made with Netflix in 2010. I mean, $1 billion for a deal with Netflix is good, but, well, I mean, that was for a single, that was for a year. Or, excuse me, the way that I should say it is, that is a year worth of losses for them. Or 2, I guess, technically. It's so bad. When both co-owners chose to move their CW programming to in-house streaming services, HBO Max and Paramount Plus, the business model reportedly became unsound. We're hearing a lot of rumors that this is happening to other companies, that everyone is trying to start their own streaming service, so they're ripping their content off of other platforms to put onto their own platforms, but they are still, unfortunately for them, you know, they're still fucking themselves over. They thought, well, you know, it's good that we'll have it on our own streaming service because then we'll bring those viewers into our service. A lot of viewers will not follow. Look at, like, Peacock. They ripped, I think it was The Office off of Peacock, or off of Netflix to put on Peacock, and none of those viewers went to Peacock, and it ended up being a fucking disaster for them. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Hi, Vera. Hope you're doing well. Could you please say good day, mate, with an Australian accent? I can't do an Australian accent. I'm sorry. But I appreciate the donation. Thank you for being here. I guess the $1 billion ran out finally. That's literally 2 years of losses for them. That is pathetic. It's so bad. It says, shortly after acquiring the CW, Nexstar began announcing big changes for the network. Per the deal made, it will continue airing 12 scripted shows produced by the previous owners for at least a year, including Superman and Lois, Walker, Independence, and the Winchesters. Despite this, Nexstar's executive VP and CFO recently shared that there may be no Warner Brothers or CBS shows left on the CW in the near future. Over the course of the next year, we're really working on developing our slate, which will then come online in 23 to 24 broadcast season. We will have some carryover commitment for the CBS and the Warner Brothers Discovery programming in that year, but it's minimal at that point. Yeah. I think that all of these shows are going to be canceled. It makes me kind of sad, because Superman and Lois was good. I mean, it is good. But I think it's all going to get scrapped. I think they're going to scrap Superman. They're going to scrap Walker. They're going to scrap the Winchesters. And they're basically going to restart. Which I don't think is going to work for them. I don't think that it's going to save them. I think that the CW's reputation is already set in stone. People have already laughed in their faces at how fucking pathetic they were doing and how bad their content was. I just don't see anything that they could do at this point that would save them. It says, though, the retooling is already underway, according to the Nexstar president, who shared shortly that despite the network's largely teen-aimed programming, the average age of their viewers was actually 58. Isn't it great to know that you think you're making content for kids and really it's like a 60-year-old guy on his couch watching this shit? I'm sorry. Don't you think that that's something that they would have fucking known? Do they not look at their ratings and their audience numbers? Do they not look at this shit? Anyway. Absolutely terrible news. We knew that they were making some bad choices. We knew that they were losing out on a lot of money. But hearing that they've lost out on $500 million for a year, and that is since 2006, is pretty freaking bad for them. So, yeah, guys, the CW saga never ends. I also had heard that there was something with Batwoman. Hold on. Batwoman news. I heard that something happened with Batwoman. Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, we know that Yavaka Leslie was cast in the final season of The Flash as like a new character. Or no, a gender race swapped character. Oh, all she did was post a picture of her back in the Batwoman costume. Lady, listen. You had a chance, you failed. It's just as simple as that, my lady. Okay? You maybe should have, I don't know, tried harder. What can I say? This show is really bad. Bad character, story, cast, costumes, all bad. My score, 10 out of 10. That's what they do, though. That's what these shills do, though. They say that it's bad and has bad elements, but then they're like, actually, I'm gonna give it the best rating I can. How does that make sense? Do people not, like, understand how things work? Like, how rating systems work? But yeah, that's all I saw regarding Yavaka Leslie, because we know that she's in the Flash final season. She's been recast, which doesn't make any sense because technically Batwoman is canon in the Flash because of that Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover. So technically, I don't know. I mean, technically, like, it's canon. So how could she play another character? I don't know. I'm not gonna think too much on it. I really don't give a fuck. So yeah. Anyway, guys, CW's fucked. What's new? Yeah, Red Death. Yep, gender race swapped Red Death. Game would not start. 10 out of 10. That's their rating. That's what they'd say. It's so stupid. It's like, how can you give something a perfect score, but then also complain in the same review? Speaking of reviews, do you not work? Hello? Batwoman. Oh, Strange New Worlds. Or Strange World, excuse me. It's Disney's first gay character who's 16? That sounds suspicious. Batwoman. You gonna load? You gonna load? Hello? You know what? I don't have time to wait. We all know that it's shit. So it's okay. Now it's time to talk about how the Rings of Power actors fucking hate Tolkien's work. Yay! So fun. I love that. That's awesome. They're so stunning and brave for speaking their truths. I'm part of this show that's only popular because fans love the original source material. Man, fuck that source material. Who gives a fuck about the source material? We're gonna do something completely different. Let's disregard the shit out of it. So guys, Rings of Power, drama, 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 it never stops. A couple of days ago, I talked about a Variety interview and the cast of Rings of Power speaking out about the future of the show and, you know, the backlash that they faced. They basically just called the critics of Season 1 racists for the 1000th time now. And now, the actor who plays Arondir has decided to make another controversial statement. Rings of Power star hopeful for more representation in Season 2. I always clarify this, and I always will. I am perfectly fine with diversity and inclusivity and representation in entertainment. I am not a racist. Gee whiz. I know that's gonna be shocking to some people because I've been called it so many times. Also a sexist. I hate women. If you didn't know. That one's true. Okay. I'm fine with representation in entertainment. As long as it fits. When it comes to Rings of Power, should there be representation in every corner of the world, in every group of individuals in the story? No. It's just as simple as that. It's not what Tolkien created. That doesn't mean Tolkien was a racist. He had a vision. He had a creation. You should fucking respect it. These pieces of shit don't, though. And now, he's basically begging for more representation in Season 2. We knew that about that one? Okay, I'm glad. I just want you guys to know my stances in life. It says the Rings of Power star Ismael Cruz Cordova hopes that positive representation and diverse casting will increase in Season 2 on the fantasy show. Can I ask, what do they mean by positive representation? Does that mean only, you know, in this case, black individuals? So having, you know, a white person on the show isn't positive representation? You're still representing someone in a group of people. What the fuck? What a fucking bigot racist. Okay, I'm sorry. Based on the works of Tolkien's Middle-earth, the Rings of Power delves into the second age of the fantasy world, providing viewers a look into the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron, thousands of years before the event of the Lord of the Rings. I don't want to sit here and talk about it, okay? I don't want to sit here and talk about it. But I have to clarify, as a woman, I feel fucking targeted, okay? These bitch-ass motherfuckers, not respectfully in this case, chipped us. We got ripped off. We could have had Hot Sauron. And we got stupid-ass fucking soy boy who flirts with Galadriel. We could have had Hot Sauron, okay? There's one thing you could have done with this series. You could have at least given us eye candy. Honestly, this is why women hate entertainment. This is why women hate fantasy. And we should stay out of fantasy. Because, honestly, they don't care about our opinions. Anyway. The series is well known for its diverse casting, with people of color in prominent roles such as Cordova's role as the elf archer Arondir. I think it's very important to point out the fact that none of these diversified characters were canon characters, and if a character isn't canon, I don't like them. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. If they're not canon, I don't like them. Half of these characters are not canon. It says, while the casting choices have been attacked through racist responses online, fans of the series have praised it for its presentation of positive representation. Ah, the classic, you guys are just racist if you criticize the casting. Not, wow, you guys actually care about the source material and want these writers to respect Tolkien's work and legacy. Nah, you're just racists. It says in an interview with Variety, Cordova says that he hopes to see more representation in the Rings of Power Season 2. He discussed how important it was to have more diverse casting in the series. This is basically saying, fuck the source material and Tolkien's work, you guys should double and triple down. That's what he's asking. He's not saying, you know what, we tried something with Season 1, people were very upset with the fact that we went off track, we didn't follow the source material, and going forward, I hope that we follow that more. No, he's just saying, let's double down, let's keep doing it, let's do more of it. I don't think that that's the best route to go. I think that this is the beginning, he said. I think we would be remiss not to do that, to stop there. There's so much love in people cosplaying as Arondir, sending love, making fan art, and saying, we're here for you. We see the negativity, but we're gonna flood your inbox with positivity. This has changed history, and there's a big movement behind this. First of all, have you guys seen anyone cosplay as Arondir? I'm genuinely asking. Not troll answer here. Have you guys seen anyone cosplay as Arondir? Hold on. Arondir cosplay. Twitter. The Google of life. The Google of my life. Arondir cosplay. Is there anybody who's cosplayed Arondir? Because I have seen nobody. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I do not see anything popping up. I do see an outfit popping up, but not somebody actually cosplaying as Arondir. So interesting. It says how Rings of Power and other shows are breaking barriers for diversity in fantasy. I always say this, if you want to have a fantasy series that represents everybody, that is perfectly fine. These writers, these creatives, they should go and they should create their own series. That is perfectly fine. If you feel like there is something missing in entertainment, in fantasy specifically in this case, go and make your own content. Make it good and sell it. Don't you want to make money? But instead, they do this. It says the heartwarming support he has received for his portrayal as Arondir illustrates his point of the importance of diverse casting and positive representation in shows. Rings of Power, however, is not the only fantasy series that has helped break down barriers for positive representation in the genre. They also bring up Game of Thrones. This is dumb. This right here, this section, it makes me feel like this journalist hack doesn't even know Game of Thrones. Because he says, Game of Thrones spinoff House of the Dragon featured actor Steve Toussaint as Corlys Velaryon, a well-respected sailor of House Velaryon, and the first major black character in the world of Westeros. That's not true. So first of all, it wasn't just Corlys that was race swapped. The House of Velaryon was race swapped, and it made sense. That's why it felt natural, and the content wasn't about that he looked different or his house and his family looked different. They didn't pull that in House of the Dragon, and that's why it was successful. That's why it was good. That's why it worked. Also, saying that he's the first major black character in the world of Westeros is so not true. Are we gonna forget about, yeah, Grey Worm is one? I mean, let's see if we can find a list. Black characters in Game of Thrones. There are several. Look at this! There's 5 right here! If you go to Google and you just look at images, there's 5 right here! Yeah, Missandei. Grey Worm. Why are they doing this? This is the problem. This is the problem with journalists. They're forgetting, or they're specifically leaving out all of these other great characters so that they can write this article and make it sound more dramatic. So they can praise this one show while shooting down another. extremely pathetic in my opinion. So, yeah, anyway, guys, that's my discussion about the Rings of Power and what Cruz Cordova said in this interview. I do have a couple like smaller topics that we could chat about for the next little while. They're completely wrong. Right. He first of all, he is not the only black character in House of the Dragon, and he is not the only black character we have seen in Game of Thrones shows at all. So, of course, they're completely wrong. And they probably know that they're wrong, or if they don't know they're wrong, then they clearly didn't even watch these shows that they were talking about. So dumb. Yeah, they're not forgetting. They're just specifically leaving it out. Yeah, Missandei was a good character. The actress that they picked for her was really good as well. She hasn't been in too much. She was recently in, I think it was called The Invitation, but besides that, I haven't really seen her in much. I feel like she is unfortunately one of those actresses that, you know, she got big because Game of Thrones. I don't think that she's ever really going to be at a place where she, you know, hits another role that's as big as Game of Thrones. Even though she was a side character, she was important to seasons, I think it was like 3 to 6. I mean, she was important in the last 2 as well, but we don't talk about those. We pretend that those do not exist anymore. Sorry, just gotta do it. The beginning of season 7 was okay, from what I remember. Drogon. True. Justice for Drogon. I can't believe they would forget about our boy like that. Damn. Ooh, House of the Dragon had better writing, acting, and directing than what? The original series? Or are you talking about versus Rings of Power? Versus Rings of Power, oh yeah. 100 times better on everything. Season 5 was the last good season of Game of Thrones. I think that season 6 had a lot of good moments still, that I feel overall we could still say that season 6 was good. I think that it had some messier storylines that started kind of forming, but I think that season 6, for me as the last season, I would say was good. It wasn't great, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't the best, but I would say that it was good. Season 7 also had good scenes and moments, but it overall wasn't good. And then season 8, guys, how could they do that to us? How could they not release season 8? I can't believe that they didn't release season 8 of Game of Thrones. It's crazy. I'm shocked. It went from being one of the most successful TV shows ever to being canceled. Oh, man, I just can't believe it. I believe the last scene in Game of Thrones to ever air was the wall coming down. Was the dragon destroying the wall and the Night King coming into Westeros. I can't believe that they'd end the show there. That they just leave us with such a cliffhanger and having to, you know, use our imaginations on what the show ended like. Like, all of our heroes were together. They lost the dragon. Can't believe it. That's where my memory blocks Game of Thrones out. I think season 6 had some cool moments, like when they attacked the Lannister enemy with the dragon. Yeah, the Sand Snakes were trash, but I think that season 6, I would still call it good. Yeah, it was getting messy, but it was good. What season Was it the end of season 5 or the beginning of season 6 where Cersei blows up the Sept? I think that was the end of season 5, correct? Battle of the Bastards was great. I don't... Listen. I'm about to start a giant debate here, and I'm sorry. Battle of the Bastards was overrated. I'm sorry. I just killed my YouTube career. Battle of the Bastards was overrated. It was good. It was good. I'm not saying that it was bad. But it was overrated. Because you knew. You knew, okay? You knew that Sansa was gonna figure out a way to win. Like, they way foreshadowed it. I mean, 3 episodes before, she was sneaking around, doing things without telling Jon. And the fact that she didn't tell him, oh yeah, I've got like thousands of soldiers riding this way for me, it made no sense. And Ramsay was such a bad villain, you knew that there was no way he was going to live. He was too bad. He was too bad. You knew there was no way he was going to win. Someone like Cersei, she's really bad, but she's not bad enough to where you feel like she can't be redeemed. Cersei, she's still got some redeeming qualities. She's still got elements there that it's like, you know what? Maybe she will be fine. Maybe she will prevail. And like, you could live with that. If they had let Ramsay live or win, they would have lost all of their viewers right there. Should she really have killed Littlefinger, though? I think she should have killed Littlefinger earlier. I think she should have killed him earlier. I mean, that motherfucker set her up with 4 different guys. He tried to marry her. He initially betrothed her to Robin. He married her to Bolton, and he was trying to marry her back to... He was trying to marry her off to someone else as well. Oh, initially he was kind of thinking of Sir Loras, but that obviously didn't happen. We all know why. Was the Battle of the Bastards overrated? Poll time. 100% say yes. It was good. It was good. I don't want to say that it was bad. Right? I don't want to say that it was bad, because it was good. But it was overrated. Like, you knew for a fact that everything was going to be fine. Ramsay was going to die. And they were going to win. The Starks were going to win. I cried when Ramsay Bolton died, though. Hashtag Team Bolton. I bet you would, Theater. The Boltons were the true stars of Game of Thrones. The Boltons were underrated. They were fucked, but they were very underrated. Every on-screen Game of Thrones battle are shit and tactless. I disagree with that. But I think that they should have did things differently. Let's just put it that way. The Boltons were misunderstood. Exactly. Yeah, they might be fucking monsters. Yeah, they might have had, you know, the Starks broken up and then killed. But, you know, they were misunderstood. I don't know. I thought that it was overrated. Just a little bit. That's me, though. They're trash in the books too. Waste of page space. Who? The Boltons? I enjoyed watching the Lannisters do their scheming. The Lannisters... I love the Starks. Do not get me wrong. The Starks, my favorite house. I will always love the Starks. Lannisters were still objectively better. On-screen, Lannisters were still better. Also in the books, they were still better. Starks were too to the point. You know, they were very straight like an arrow. Justice. Truth. All that shit. Lannisters were scheming, slick motherfuckers. Lannisters are still the best. Even though I prefer the Starks. Just the way that it is. I don't know if you guys saw this. I did mention it at the beginning of stream. I wanted to mention it again. Pixiv is banning uploads depicting acts that are offensive to public order and morals, following complaints from Western credit card companies. Guys, no more hentai for you because it's offensive to public order and morals. So stupid. It should just let artists be creative. Let them create what they want to create. Stop trying to shove everyone into a bubble and tell them, oh, you can't create that art because it offended somebody. Oh, the sand snakes, they were fucking atrocious. Sand snakes have been awful and will be awful. Always awful. Tony's still the best Stark? Ain't no shot. Tony Stark is not better than Ned Stark. Sorry, I said it. Ned Stark is better than Tony. Just the way that it is. Hentai will cause chaos in the streets. There are a lot of companies and communities that are starting to ban adult, spicy NSFW content from their websites. Their groups, their communities, whatever, from Reddits to Discords to Twitter accounts to, you know, sites like Pixiv. But sadly, there's not anywhere for these creatives to go. And that's the issue. That's the way that I view it, is that there's nowhere else for these creatives to go, and it's going to ruin art. It really is. When I understand that there are some creatives out there who say, I'm going to create what I want. I don't care what these sites think of my art, and that's great. That is a great fucking way to look at it. Massive respect to them. But the issue is that they don't have somewhere else to go. So it says, as more and more social media companies finding themselves bending the knee in regards to censorship, Japanese internet art community Pixiv has found themselves caught in the crosshairs of the ongoing conflicts. That is a great art. That is a great art. On November 15th, a popular image sharing site announced that they would be updating their TOS following content complaints from international credit card companies. This reminds me a lot of, like, PayPal banning adult sites. Like, PayPal wouldn't allow porn sites to collect funds through their processing systems anymore. It's a very, very similar situation in my opinion. Credit card companies are now complaining, so these sites are getting rid of the content. It says, according to the press release provided on the site's administration, these complaints centered around the apparent violations of Article 14, Item 26 of the site's current terms of service agreements, which prohibits the act of using the service to display, sell, purchase, register, or otherwise conduct transactions for a variety of illegal content, including narcotics, weapons, and material depicting the abuse of children. So first of all, I understand why things like depicting abuse of children would be banned. From what I have heard, there is none of that on Pixiv. But also things like weapons. Now you can't have weapons in your art because that's illegal. Oh, you can't have drugs because that's illegal. Really? Really? Weapons? Oh, this hot girl can't have a gun anymore because that is offensive. It says they explain that starting December 15th, in order to comply with the TOS conditions of international card brands, they would be prohibiting any content or products depicting CP or child abuse, rape, incest, and this is the problem, and other acts that are offensive to public order and morals. So basically anything they fucking feel like. If they think that something should be banned, they can ban it, no hesitation now. Also, incest, rest in peace the Targaryens. It's a hard life for them out there. I understand, obviously, them banning some of that content, and some of that content should not be on a platform and is illegal. But we're talking about extremely vague new terms that they will most likely use and can use to ban and censor creatives that they do not like the art of, or they just do not like in general, which is the problem. Anyway, I thought I would show that to you guys. Now Pixiv is corrupted, and well, now they're pulling bullshit with their site as well. That's how it goes. I hope they don't ban Sakimi. They could. Because even though she ages up characters like Anya from Spy X Family, even though she's aged up, they could still say it is still a character that was originally underage and you get banned for it. That's the problem with these vague ass fucking rules, is that anyone can be banned for anything whenever. It is so absurd. Have you seen DeviantArt lately? I haven't. I haven't used DeviantArt in a long time. Sometimes, like, on Twitter, the artists that I follow will post there, and, like, I'll click their link and open it. But I don't actually use DeviantArt. Is it really bad now? Or is there, like, nobody using it? They had some queer customs in the day. Very true. Very true. Well, yeah, of course they're purposefully vague, but it doesn't make it any better. No, we obviously all understand that they're doing it for this specific reason, that they're being vague just to be vague, but it doesn't make it any better. Pixiv will eventually die and be replaced by some new website until the cycle starts again. I just don't see a way that a platform like this could exist, or could survive, I should say, because it already exists. I think that, yes, this will obviously make the special soft snowflakes of social media happy, and they will be very glad to hear that none of this offensive content is going to be allowed anymore. But I don't see a way that any good artist who respects everybody else's ability and right to be able to post their own art would stay. I just don't see why they would. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, thought I'd show this to you guys really quickly. Marvel Studios requested for hulked out Todd to be uglified in She-Hulk's finale, reveals visual effects supervisor Guy Williams said no, he's the villain. He has to look bad. He can't look good. He's just way too attractive. We know that Marvel hates men. So hearing that they specifically made this male character more ugly because he's supposed to be the villain, it's so pathetic, but it's honestly so funny. It's like a joke that just never ends with these people and with these companies. They hate men. We already know that. The sky is blue. Marvel hates men. But hearing that they specifically said, no, he has to be ugly because he's a male and he's the villain. Wow. If I was a man, I would never watch Marvel's content again. Even as a woman, okay? I'm getting to the point where I don't even want to watch Marvel's content anymore. I mean, now they've gotten to the point where they just keep fucking insulting women as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, don't open my Twitter on stream. Don't ever do that again. Also, I saw this right before stream. I'll bring it up really quickly. This can be the last thing that we talk about. Obviously, with Bob Chapek being fired and Bob Iger returning, there's going to be a lot of rumors surrounding the future of Disney and Lucasfilm, Marvel. And Kathleen Kennedy has been someone that we've all hated. Let's be honest, she has created some of the worst content known to fucking man. She has greenlit some terrible content. Of course, she's the one directly behind The Force is Female. And now there's a rumor circulating that they are planning to remove her. Quickly, guys, before we read this final article for the evening, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. We need 8 more likes to hit 100. Check out links in the description. Donate, support, become a member. We need a couple more members for the emote slots to be unlocked. It says, after 10 years in the position, Kathleen Kennedy's reign at Lucasfilm is rumored to be coming to an end in 2023. Obviously, these rumors are blowing up right now because of the Chapek and Iger situation. We have been saying this for years, that eventually here her reign is going to come to an end. As Trent just said, every year there's the Kathleen Kennedy rumor that she's going to be fired, she's out of Lucasfilm, she's going to be done. I do think that it's more likely next year because it will be her 10th year, but I don't really believe that she's going to be coming to an end with Lucasfilm. I think that they plan to keep her around for a little bit. Now, that is very different from what I would like. I would like Kathleen Kennedy to be fired from Lucasfilm tomorrow. I'd like her to be blacklisted from the entertainment industry. And honestly, I'm not a person that is for cancel culture, but I think she should be so fucking buried. She should never touch another movie again. She should delete her social media, and she should go into hiding. Just me, though. Kathleen Kennedy has been president of Lucasfilm since 2012 when George Lucas sold his company to Disney. It says a decade into owning Disney owning Star Wars, and fans have had a mixed reception to the generation of the franchise. Many are critical of how the sequel trilogy turned out after a divisive sequel in The Last Jedi and a generally disappointing finale with The Rise of Skywalker. It says, she is rumored to be leaving Lucasfilm. Take this with a grain of salt. Keep in mind, we hear this rumor often. It's popping back up now simply because Chapek is out. He was fired. Iger is back. There's a lot going on at Disney. It's likely that this will happen. But we don't know. I don't really believe rumors surrounding Kathleen Kennedy at this point, but it would be good for it to happen. It says, it was revealed on a live show that his sources, the John's sources, have indicated that Kathleen Kennedy will be removed as the president of Lucasfilm either before the release of Indiana Jones 5 or shortly after. Now, I don't know how many rumors John has put out in the past and how many have been correct, but to me, this doesn't sound right. Either before or after. So, listen, clearly, if she was being fired, it would be before or after Indiana Jones 5. But I don't think that they would fire her or get rid of her before it because she was a major part in Indiana Jones 5. She was the reason why Harrison Ford even came back to do IJ5, but she's also like a producer on it, So I don't personally believe this rumor. I would love for it to be the truth, though. I would love for her to be gone. It says, though, this is what I have heard. I have heard that the decision to remove Kathy Kennedy has already been made and that she will be gone either sometime before or very, very shortly, thereafter the release of IJ5. Now, I want to be very, very clear here. I cannot independently say to you and confirm to you that this is a fact. I will just say that one of the two people that have contacted me has 1,000% average on the things they've informed me of. I do not think that they would fire her before Indiana Jones 5. She is the main reason why this movie happened. She's a producer on it, and they like her. At the end of the day, we might not like Kathleen Kennedy. Disney likes Kathleen Kennedy. George Lucas picked Kathleen Kennedy. And I don't think that they would, as Chris said, I don't think that they would, they wouldn't do it that way. I could see it after IJ5, but that would be a safe bet. I could sit here and say, I think, and this is just, you know, my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, I think that they would fire Kathleen Kennedy right after the release of Indiana Jones 5. I think that that would be a safe assumption. It says this in turn would mean that a new president would oversee any future Star Wars projects, including the next film set to release in December 2025. I think that she should go. I think that she has done a lot of damage to the brand. I think that she is awful in her position that she is currently in. I do not think that she deserves to run this brand anymore. But I do not think it is likely that Disney will fire her before Indiana Jones releases. I do not think they do that. We might not like her, but they like her. And they're not going to kill her reputation like that. In my opinion. Maybe it'll happen. I'd like to laugh at it. But, yeah, guys. I'm going to be wrapping up stream in about 5 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Any other topics you want me to discuss, feel free to put them in chat. But I'll be wrapping up in about 5 minutes. Guys, I will be streaming tomorrow since Thanksgiving is on Thursday, and I will not be streaming Thursday. We will be continuing and finishing our playthrough of Ragnarok tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. Be here and be ready to party. That's the plan. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. More God of War Ragnarok. I'm a little sad we're coming to the end of it, but I'm also kind of glad because I felt pretty underwhelmed with it. I don't think it's a terrible game. I just feel like it has underwhelmed me. So, yeah. We'll see how it ends. If she didn't get fired after the trilogy, she's immune. I could agree with that, yeah. You would think that they would say, you fucked up so badly, and so many people hate you now, and hate the content you've released, we're gonna fire you. You would think. That doesn't necessarily mean it's true. You know, again, they do like her. They do have confidence in her. So, they kept her around. I think that eventually here, in the next, I would say in the next 3 years, her time will come to an end. And she will not be at Lucasfilm anymore, but I don't think it's going to be quite yet. Hashtag flat earth is real. Actually true, though. I have to work on Thanksgiving. May the odds be ever in your favor. You should check Soul Hackers too. When it came out, it looked okay, but I didn't hear great things about it. It seemed a little slow to me. It just didn't seem to really captivate me. It didn't catch my attention. But it's a game that I do plan to buy at some point, and I'll probably buy it when it's on sale for like 20 bucks. Now, I don't want Kathleen Kennedy to die. We should never wish for someone to die just because we don't like them. I'm not going to sit here and hope that she dies. Getting fired for doing a bad job, yes, I think that that should happen. I think that that is more than fair. You do not deserve to keep your job if you are doing a poor job. She was not fired for the movies because she's a woman, changed my mind. Well, also that, and I mean, George Lucas appointed her. George Lucas liked Kathleen. Of course they don't want to get rid of her. But, will Bilbo get turkey scraps after Thursday? Oh, he'll get turkey on Thursday. I always, put some turkey aside without, like, seasoning on it for the cats. So that they can have some, too. I'm fair. I'm a good mother, okay? Off topic, but will there ever be any Elden Ring DLC? It's not officially confirmed, but according to data miners, they've found a bunch of new content, like NPCs, bosses, areas, and that was like a couple weeks ago. I think that, yes, I think there will be Elden Ring DLC next year. I would say around the time that the game released. It released in February, so I'd say probably around February to April. But alright guys, with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. Like I said, tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, we will be finishing God of War Ragnarok. Check out the past few days worth of videos if you didn't see them. I talked about Bob Chapek and Iger. I talked about Rings of Power. I've talked about so many different things, guys. I've talked about anime. I've talked about Riot and Ubisoft targeting toxic gamers, Wakanda forever. So yeah, go check those videos out. New video tomorrow, live stream tomorrow. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, Odyssey, Getter. Also join our Discord server. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of the live stream. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by and for hanging around, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.